A very good evening to all of you. Today, our topic of discussion is whether we should join crash course. Is crash course useful for us? Now, let's say if you are preparing for examination next year or next to next year, in that scenario, definitely crash course won't benefit you because this is the time where you have to cover the entire syllabus. Don't rush through the syllabus. Rushing through the syllabus can only land you in troubles because the conceptual clarity would not be attained. So, definitely, that is not the point where you should go for a crash course. I repeat, those who have 1 year, 2 year, 3 years in hand, crash course is not at all useful. This is just a quick recap of everything, and rather than joining a crash course platform or a program, it would be a good idea to cover at your own self pace, and that's one of the best strategies to cover the content. However, if let's say you are appearing for any examination in next 6 months or next 2 months, but you are not prepared for that examination prior, you have not done anything, in that scenario rapid revision is required. But that rapid revision again can be done by your own self. So there is no requirement that you do rapid revision only through joining a crash course platform or a crash course program. You can do it by yourself, and that's one of the good ways of attending or going through a revision. Now, what you have to cover, what to cover is a good question, but that is something that you have a schedule. When most of the institutes tell you that okay, we would be doing the crash course program, and they say okay, let's talk about UPSC. So polity would be covered in 7 days, geography would be covered in 7 days, economics would be covered in 7 days, so on and so forth. But what is actually covered is NCRT. So if you are covering on your own pace, so let's say I take an example where you want to cover on your own, you don't want to cover on any platform which would provide a crash course for you. Now, once you are covering it on your own pace, definitely you know your weak areas. So let's say you are weak in political science or you are weak in physics in terms of NEET preparation. What you can do is you can devote 10 days to the subject where you are weak, and only 3 days or 5 days to the subject that you are good at. However, if you go with the speed of the crash course, they would divide it everything in 7 days. So probably that won't be highly fruitful. So to make it a point that crash course becomes beneficial for you, try to devise your own schedule, your own program, have good books in hand. So refer good material, good references, good books are the best friends. So refer those good books, those good references, and those would definitely help you attain good marks. I repeat again, if you have 2 to 3 years in hand, if you are in your 10th preparing for your NEET JEE examination, if you are in your final years of graduation preparing for UPSC or any other competitive examination, in those scenario, crash course is not at all recommended. Some of the students also think that okay, if I join a crash course program, in 2 months I would get a complete overview what to study, what to read. But that is something that you can understand by going through the major references. Any exam, be it any exam that you are appearing for, the standard references are must to be covered. Whatever institute you join, whatever crash course platform you join, you would have to cover those references by all means. So even if you are preparing on your own or you are getting affiliated with someone, make sure that you are able to cover it. And don't join the crash course in the sake of getting knowledge about it, getting content about it, because that's not at all required. What is required is the list of good references, list of good material, the way in which the questions are asked, the practice question sets which are essential for most of the competitive exams now, specifically when we are targeting to MCQ based questions. These practice sets become very, very essential. So the more you practice, the better perfection you get towards your examination. So those are some of the key things that you must keep in mind. Now, coming on next is, if I am preparing for 2 to 3 years in advance, then I am suggesting that there is no point joining a crash course program. Even some of the students think that I have completed everything. Now, if I join a crash course program, it would be a good revision for me. No, not at all. Why? Because if you keep those 2 to 3 months with you and you do a revision by yourself, you would be able to understand your notes, your content, the books that you have read. You can revisit those, revise those, and that would build in better and strong memory, rather than going for a crash course program, listening to all the new things, new stuff again, and then getting confused. So much material to study, what what not to study. These were the things that probably I had left, so these could be the areas which could create a kind of depressive sense, or there could be a feeling of excitement that, okay, I know everything, the crash course level is too less, and therefore I would be able to do well. Either of that should not happen. Okay, so therefore, if you are going for long programs, there is no point joining the crash course. However, if you are going for short term, you are not at all prepared, you don't know what is the syllabus, you don't know where to study, what to study, and just 2 months in hand, I just need to go through something and just appear for the exam for the sake of experience, then probably you can think about it. But then again, a good way would be to get hold of whatever exam you are preparing for nicely. Cover the syllabus, cover the past papers, the way in which the question papers are asked, the questions are asked, how you want to address the problem, your critical insight about certain things, your conceptual understanding on those topics is extremely essential. So I repeat again, whatever be the issue, the thing is, your own preparation should not dwindle. It should not be that you are spending 8 hours with the crash course program, extremely tired, no energy left, and what to do now? And in the next 1 month, 2 months, you have your exam. So, in that scenario, you won't be able to do justice to yourself. This can create a feeling of depressiveness, it can create a feeling of negativity within yourself, that I don't know the content, I'm lagging behind, I cannot cope up with the things, it's too fast, I'm getting out of the track, I still wanted to read something but I'm unable to read those things because I'm not getting time. So all these questions should not enter your mind and therefore we recommend that this 2 month would not be useful. But in case you want to get a quick recap of what it is, how the paper is, what is asked, what are the things that we need to visit, and you don't have any other sources, you don't know what books are there, you don't know what material is there, what kind of question paper is there, which is probably not the case in this era of internet. You have everything that you want to search would be available to you. But in that scenario, definitely yes, this could have proved beneficial to you. So make sure that you are not getting misguided by your friends, by your peer group, creating unnecessary intense pressure on yourself. So take it at your own pace, analyze your own self, know your weak areas, spend time with your weak areas, strengthen the areas where you think you require more time. If it is numericals, practice numericals. If it is things that you have to rote memorize, try to rote memorize towards the last 2 months. So whatever you feel is your weak area, based on the past papers that you do, based on the practice questions that you do, identify which subjects are problematic to you, within the subject which specific topics are creating problem for you, or what kind of questions you find difficulty in. Focus more on those, and the remaining things that you have already covered would be all set by itself. So those are some of the key highlights that we have discussed for today. Every Tuesdays and Saturdays we meet at 6 p.m. for a live session, and every day 7:30 p.m. we have the live video, the videos which are uploaded on the channel. So stay tuned. If you have any questions, any doubts, you can feel free to connect to us at admin@examrace.com or contact us on 999-800-8851. We'll be more than happy to resolve your doubts. Wish you very good luck for your forthcoming examination. Take your decisions wisely. Don't just go with the crowd. Don't just get trapped with the peer pressure, creating unnecessary burden on yourself, creating negativity among yourself. And that is one of the ways you can actually secure well, score well, and do well. Wish you good luck. Have a wonderful day ahead.